We're going to start with the sphere that is most important to me this year. It's my greatest priority. And I think it's an area that we're all in need of being more intentional about, and that is the sphere of community. So you're going to find this is the 1, 2, 3, 4th sphere in your planner. This sphere of community. I'm going to ask you a series of questions about the state of your community. And I want you to engage these pages in a 3-part way. So if you can think about organizing your response in 3 different sections, the first one maybe takes up at least half of the page, and then the last 2 would be the second half of the page. So the first way of responding to these prompts that I want you to do is just to free write, just to dream, whatever it is that comes to your heart, whatever idea that you have, whatever longing that you have. I'm going to read these prompts together. And so you're just going to write in response to them. And then I also want you to become aware of limiting beliefs around what you respond and of liberating truths. So I'm going to read the first question as an example of what I mean here. What do you dream for your community, for your closest friendships? How can you cultivate and enrich them? So community can be defined in so many different ways. There are spheres in the planner for romance and for family. And so those are your closest spheres, right? Those are your closest circles of community, and those get their own sphere, their own page for vision casting. So you think about the closest circle of your community or the people that you talk to every single day, you live with maybe, and then the next closest ring would be the people that you're talking to every few days, right? Or maybe people that you work with, and so you're also seeing almost every single day. Close friends that you're checking in with, and then acquaintances, and then your neighborhood and your country. I mean, all of the spheres of which you're a part. But when I ask that question, what do you dream for your community, for your closest friendships? How can you cultivate and enrich them? What are the first things that come to you? What are the first visions that you have? And I also want you to notice if there's limiting beliefs that immediately come to your mind as you think about that. So if you've been through maybe a painful situation with close friendships, or a painful situation with maybe a divorce or a relationship ending, and this question might immediately activate limitation for you. You might feel yourself immediately pulled into doubt or disbelief. No judgment at all. Practice, just try not judging that at all, just becoming aware of it, and also writing out some of those limiting beliefs. So those limiting beliefs might be in response to the questions I just asked. I'm too old for close friendships, or I can't sustain close friendships, or I get rejected by close friendships, right? So maybe a dream came to your mind, and then also some of these limiting beliefs. The antidote, and I go very deep into this practice of limiting beliefs and liberating truths in the Visionary Volume 1 course. So if this is feeling like some work that you would like to do more deeply, join me in that course. The antidote to a limiting belief is a liberating truth. So the reason I'm wanting you to actually write out what some of those limiting beliefs are is so you can write a very clear antidote to that limiting belief. So an example, like I just said, is that I can't sustain close relationships. So an answer to that, a liberating truth response to that, is I have all the resources within me to love well. That's just one example. You can come up with so many versions of this. I am learning, what a beautiful way to put it. I am learning how to sustain close relationships. I am drawing wisdom from my past to stop patterns in cultivating close relationships, or even I'm committed to growing into sustaining close relationships. So you can see how you can come up with a liberating truth in response to a limiting belief. Now, it's very normal that liberating truth, you might feel like you only 5% believe it because you're growing into it. That's the work of manifestation. That's the work of vision casting that we're doing. We start with this little tiny seed of vision, and we start to live in a world, in our minds, in our hearts, of faith in that seed growing into the oak tree that it could become. And that's how we grow. So as you're responding to these prompts, it's okay if the limitations come up for you. In fact, be as specific as you can about naming exactly what they are so that you can also author counters to them. You can offer, I love this word, the antidote to that limitation. The antidote to that limitation is liberation. You also have that within you. So I'm going to keep asking these prompts about community. What are your dreams for the circles of which you are part? Your neighborhood and city, spiritual, athletic, work communities. So maybe you have a spiritual community, or you would like to have a spiritual community. Probably that's very true for many of us right now. We've maybe transitioned from one spiritual community and we want to build one that's more authentic and true to who we are becoming. Your work community, your athletic community, that's a big part of what Alter Together is. The online communities that are meaningful to you. So how can you be intentional? What's your vision for what these communities would be to you and who you would be to them? Here's the really central golden question. How can you lead these communities into more authentic, brave, intimate connection and collaboration? And very important to this category, how will you establish boundaries that protect your energy and respect your values? So our relationship to community, a healthy relationship to community, is both as generous and intentional as it can possibly be, and as intentional in the boundaries that we create about the relationships that drain us versus energize us. So by the way, that's a really great way to think about if there's shifts that you want to make in friendships or in how much time that you're investing in various communities. What a great question to ask. Does this community drain you, or does this community energize you? Does this friendship drain you, or does this friendship energize you? So as you're evaluating how you want to show up, another way that you could vision cast in this sphere is how much time do you want to be allotting to the different communities that you're in? What shifts do you want to make? Are there changes? So I'll give you a moment for that.